And with that as a setup, as we welcome our panelists up to the stage, which all of us are very aware of, the numbers that are at stake here are quite well written about. The European Commission just recently in its February report stating that 30% of manufactured goods between the EU and US represents 30% of that in the world. 40% of services dollar value, when we take a look at services as well between the EU and US, of the total number in the world. So that you can see what is at stake here. And to our guests now, we're going to start with, first of all, a snapshot of where we are today. And we got a sense of that from the video. And then we'll look at the transatlantic relationship and the partnerships that are so important when we talk about jobs and growth. And then finally, some of those items we might consider as externalities or those issues that are really global. So that's the way we'll go at the conversation. First, I would like to start with Mr. Frank Friedman, the global COO and US COO and CFO of Deloitte. And in your capacity here, give me a sense of where we are at today when we look at that transatlantic relationship between the EU and the US and jobs and growth. I want to move into what was brought up, and then we're going to get to your question right over there in just a second. One of those issues that was just brought up was, of course, the UK, Brexit or Remain. And I would like to ask our panelists here which they think will happen. I know that it's looking into that window that we don't not quite know at this moment. The polls as of late are within that margin of error, as we like to say, certainly, when we look at polls. So what do you think will happen, and what the effect will be to the EU and the US? And I would, to our American friends, might say, I'm not sure many Americans know what Brexit is. Who would like to react?
They may know what it is, but to your first question, I just go with the bookies.
Okay.
And the bookies,
you go with the bookies, all right?
The bookies are saying they're not going to do it.
You're from Las Vegas, I guess. Is that right?
Well, I think they're probably as on top of it as anybody.
I'd like to get a quick reaction from the panel, since you did bring that up, Madam Chair, and that is the issue of security and terrorism and how it is impacting. It's a very big subject, but if we can touch on that, because you did bring it up here. You know, in November, when I sat there in Place de la République and we were talking about what was very improbable, it was probable because it happened. What is the result of that concern and the preparations thereof on the economic growth in that transatlantic relationship that we're talking about today?